Welcome. My name is Matthew Stevens, and this is Pedal Echoes, a discussion about what pedals inspired an artist's creativity for new music. My discussion with Adam Dodson from Zeal in the North happened in the evening of March 1st, 2021. Adam Dodson is a guitarist in the Austin, Texas post-rock band Zeal in the North. Zeal in the North released their second album, Brightness of an Endless Light, in June 2020. This is episode 20. Welcome to Pedal Echoes.
Hey, Matthew. Thanks for having me.
How did Zeal in the North get started?
So Zeal in the North is actually kind of a long story. My personal story is a little shorter. I joined the band in 2018. I'm the newest member, and they actually discovered me when they moved to Austin, Texas, and saw me on Instagram, which is so bizarre. And
That is really bizarre and awesome.
yeah, it's crazy how you can meet so many musicians just over the internet now. And that's exactly what happened. They discovered me through, I presume, like a post-rock hashtag or something I used, and just invited me to come jam with them one time. And yeah, we realized that we were a lot more like-minded than we expected, and just kind of hit off really well. And that all took place about a month before the Modern Prophecy EP was released. So I kind of came in at the tail end of that writing and got to contribute a few things. But the grander history of the band actually dates back to as far as, I think, 2007. Anthony, our other guitarist, this is really like his baby. This has been his project for the longest time. And I think he's been writing some of these songs as early as then. So it's been a lot of fun to join the band at the time that a lot of the music was really coming into fruition.
So as that kind of writing is being done and then recorded, then is it like a year or two passes before this newest record comes out?
About a year and some change. Brightness of an Endless Light album came out in June of 2020. So yeah, that's right about 1 year and 6 months. And most of the time leading up to that, we spent writing. Some of it was getting to know each other and learning how we all write together and learning how to communicate as musicians. And then closer towards the end of 2019 was really honing in like what exactly we want to do, what we felt like was worth committing to a record. We surprisingly had a lot more than we expected. I said, like we really hit it off so well. It kind of took me by surprise at how much we had in common and how much we wanted to, how our musical goals were so aligned.
Walk me through the pedals that were used in the recording of Brightness of an Endless Light.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a lot of pedals. Anthony and I are both big pedal geeks and are really particular about our sound. And going into the record, I think that was something we wanted to make sure was captured. Like a big pillar for us is just authenticity. To us, that meant using our pedals as much as possible on the record because we really wanted the record to be one-to-one with our live sound. When we recorded, we had all of our effects going into the DAW and, capturing everything all printed onto one file. So what we captured is kind of what you get. What I would consider an always-on pedal for me is the EHX Soul Food. It's kind of a Klon-style overdrive where you can use it as a clean boost and then kind of into like a light to mid-gain overdrive. And that's sort of like my foundation tone, and everything else builds upon that. I use a Boss Super Overdrive when I really want to like crunch into things. But it's typically only like set about halfway on the drive knob. So it's never like super distorted or anything. I really like to keep it pretty clean and, a lot of clarity. Just because there is so much going on and we do a lot of layers, that things can get muddy pretty quick if you're using too much distortion.
So feeding the Boss Super Overdrive into, what does that go into?
The Super Overdrive goes into my HX Pitchfork, which is an octaver. That's a pretty crucial pedal for my sound as well. It's got an octave up and octave down that lets me do anything from like really heavy rhythm tones to that kind of classic screaming post-rock lead. So I'll like run that into a bunch of delay and reverb. And for that, I use the TC Electronic Nova delay, which was really helpful for recording because it has like an on-screen BPM reader.
I don't know that one, actually.
It's kind of an older one. What I like about it is how simple it is. There's a lot of really sophisticated pedals out there that I think are amazing to have, but something for me that's important is usability and just kind of like that plug and play fashion where like I can tell what's happening based off the knobs on the surface. And for live use, it's kind of everything I need. It doesn't do anything too wild or like out of the box, but as far as just like a really honest delay, it's kind of perfect for me. From there, I run into a Digitech DigiDelay, which is another really old delay pedal. It's like a $40 delay. It's honestly like the secret sauce to my sound sometimes. It's got this modulated delay setting that when you put it on a slapback kind of tempo, it almost acts like a doubler. Like when you record, you would often take a performance a couple times and pan it to make it sound wider. It sort of has that effect, which just makes you sound just bigger and larger than life. It was one of the first pedals I ever got, like over 10 years ago, and I'm still using it. So if that's any indication to how much I love it. After that, I use a Walrus Audio ARP87, which is kind of like a lo-fi delay. In context of the Zealand album, it's a lot of these like textural moments. You can hold down the secondary foot switch and get just like constant feedback. I have another reverb. It's the New Neighbor Wet reverb. That's kind of the extent of my setup. It's pretty traditional, I would say, just like drives into delays, into reverbs. And Anthony's setup is pretty similar. I think his go-to pedals are like a mini tube screamer. He uses that Keeley Caverns reverb a lot. And that's one of my favorite sounds of his.
For Anthony's, do you know like the tube screamer into the caverns? Do you know what else he uses?
He uses the rubberneck delay, which is just a really awesome analog delay.
Is that the DoD one?
Yeah, that one's a really special unit. It has some really awesome like secondary functionalities too, like it can warp the time speed with just like holding down a momentary switch. But in general, it's kind of just like that ideal delay tone that you need, and you don't really have to like tweak it super hard to get a very usable sound. I know he also really likes the MXR reverb. It has a shimmer in it that is probably the best shimmer I have heard.
Sometimes like you just really, really gel with the pedal and you can't put it down. Then other ones you're like, I just don't get it, or it's not for me.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because like I'm pretty attached to my Boss Overdrive and the Soul Food. And when we were recording the record, our producer, he brought some of his own pedals, he was really insistent, like, hey, you should really try this Rat. I'd never tried a Rat distortion pedal before, and I played it, and I was like, yeah, it's kind of cool. And then when I heard it back, it's like, I don't feel like I sound like myself because it's just not what I'm used to hearing. And I was like, it literally doesn't sound like me playing anymore. On that one, I think ultimately we went back to my Boss Overdrive, but he had so many other pedals too that was just like really solid suggestions, and really did a good job of capturing like what our intention was.
Well, thanks for being on the show.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
To find out more about Zeal in the North, please visit linktree/Zeal in the North. Brightness of an Endless Light is available now.
My name is Adam Dodson, and I play guitar in Zeal in the North. We're a post-rock band in Austin, Texas, and this is our single, Spirit Home.
Please like this video and subscribe to this channel. It goes a long way.